people's house. Big Zeus, here's the people's house. Big Zeus, pull up to the gate at 1600 on the map. Supposed to be the people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm balling through the wall. Power through the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game strong. Freedom is the banner and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is it and art, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father's vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bag. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Balance in my hand, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
You know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK. Now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Big Zeus.
Good morning, ladies
Powers
and gentlemen.
in the air. Big Zeus. We knocking on the door. Big Zeus. We wanna hear your soul.
Good morning.
Yeah, who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. People, all them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall. They staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told. I will never ever fold. I'm trapping out the West Wing, doing.
Hope you all had a great weekend. Seriously.
Come true. All I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know who is on my line. Got the Constitution jumping, yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my kicks and the
What's up, Tacky? Good morning.
And the gates is locked. This power never divides.
It really does it. Good morning, Rick.
Wanna fight 1600, do it all day, all night. The people's house is a trap. Got the power, get it back. Money talk loud, time to clap. Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap. I'ma bring it back in the people's house. Powers in the air. It's the people's house. We knocking on your door. It's the people's house. We wanna hear your soul.
All right. Good morning, Cece. Wow. All right, let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. We don't got all dates. Monday, August 4th, and obviously there's a lot of work to do because we're not gonna give up. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Carlito, good morning, champ.
It's like a curse,
It really is.
and I can't escape it. It's like deja vu. It's me, Zoo.
It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the Terminator screaming. It's deja, I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out the trash.
I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class.
You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so long, I won't finish last.
And my grass like that.
I never rode screaming how we made it. This is how it's supposed to happen when you're rich and famous.
Hey,
The album
W. Rick.
to a maniac. Yeah. I guess we going viral cause
My Zodiac, that's true.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet.
Hey,
Second is my plastic.
really it
And
is.
if they is my ex, that mean
Good
they
morning
like
to
me.
you.
They don't give me calls if they text me. I say it with my chest cause I'm
Here
in
you
it.
go.
Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited.
Let's do it.
Call me the master with a new whip.
All right, let's do it together, ladies and gentlemen. Here it goes.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into
Zeus is
Zeus's house
live.
in a couple of days.
Get a drug.
Yes.
Shit was radical.
Very
It
radical.
was
Snuggles.
it was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
It's
Oh,
like deja vu.
got me.
It's like deja vu.
All through.
It's like deja vu.
She got me really bad. Oh my
It's
God.
like deja vu. Yeah.
It's deja.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Thunderdome. I am your host. I am your pilot. And once again, we are gathered here to do the real work that it takes to save this great nation of ours from the evil clutches of this maniac in my background and his legion of MAGA demons who we all know are clearly hell-bent on destroying this great country of ours, all right? And so before I get into that, I'll take care of some very important housekeeping items. I got to. For those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, all right? As some like to say, Triple H, and not like the other one, all right? The real one. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media, hands down. You see it, right? I always tell people the truth, even if it means they might not like me after I say it. I'm going to say it anyway. Because what I've learned over the years, especially on TikTok, is you just can't let people believe in lies because they'll do something crazy. They'll do something dangerous like go out and vote for Donald Trump, right? So I'm the most honest person on social media. The second H, ladies and gentlemen, it's because, well, I'm humble. Listen. If I get it wrong, I honestly will be the first to apologize, all right? Because I honestly think it's not a sign of weakness. Apologizing is a sign of strength. That's how you learn, that's how you grow, and that's how you become a better person. But here's the thing. Just because your feelings are hurt by what I say, it doesn't mean that I owe you an apology. 10 times out of 10, it means that you need to sit your special behind down and do what? Listen to this special broadcast, all right? And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, which you all know is probably one of the most important H's right now. I've been using it more so than the other ones because it gives me the ability to really penetrate, so to speak, and keep it clean though, all right? But it is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, right? The most handsome! That's true. All right. I hope you all honestly had a great weekend and recharged and disconnected from the app if you could and got out there and took care of yourselves personally. All right. Because it's very important you do that. All right. This is not a sprint. This is honestly a marathon. All right. And along those lines, like many of you know exactly what we do over here on this side of TikTok. What we do is spectacular. What we do is incredible. It's irrefutable. It's undeniable. It's amazing. It's galactical. It's theatrical. What we do is amazing because we hold these Trump supporters, these MAGA demons accountable for their dirty, disgusting, filthy deeds, as well as their crime and their lies. I mean, and it starts all the way at the top. You know, they say leadership starts at the top. What we do is we take this guy right here, and it's the best thing you could ever ask for. All we do is force his supporters to look at him and stare at him and say, yes, this is who we voted for. This is what we voted for. And you know what? Some of them are starting to wake up and say, oh my God, I didn't know he was that terrible of a person. I should have listened to you, Big Zeus, and all the other Democrats and the smart people out here. But the rest of them, they get upset and they go, oh no, please don't show us who daddy is. And you know who I'm talking about. You know her name, conservative Christina. I hope she's here. I told her she won't be a good person. She won't be a human being until she drops that conservative part out of her front name, and we can just call her Christina. All right. And that goes for all of you Trump supporters out there. Right. And so before I go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to check the temperature. Do we have any Trump supporters out there? Do we have any Trump supporters out there? Anybody still supporting Donald Trump out there? Just put a 1 in the chat. I don't need you to come up here real quickly because okay. Tiny tank top Tim Tom turkey neck. Besides you, because there's really nothing else that I can do other than just to continue to watch you go down the drain. All right, because you deserve, this is MAGA right here, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone else out there still supporting Donald Trump? In other words, anyone out there don't like themselves? You know, when you look in the mirror, you say things like, I hate myself. WVIP, let's go. Anybody out there that hates themselves? Because I'm going to do something, and I do this because I don't like people disrupting such a wonderful show. I don't like it when they do that, all right? I like to give people, honestly, the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, I don't think this is my cup of tea, so to speak. So what I'll say is this. If you are a Trump supporter out there, all right, and you do not want Big Zeus to hurt your feelings, or you don't want any of the other people that sometimes come up here and help me out, right? If you don't want to experience that, you don't want us to ruin your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and everything in between, right? And you know what that is, right? Jesus and Diet Coke. If you don't want that to happen to you, leave this live right now and you go hang out with those fake TikTok hosts, all right? Because they look at that tiny tank top Tim. He said my hit squad. Between the mods or just the regular folks that are out here listening to you Trump supporters, you don't stand a chance. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, all right? So if you don't want us to ruin your day, leave right now. Like I said, it's going to get very, very uncomfortable in here, all right? Because what we're going to do is bring so much truth that your heads are literally going to spin around and they might pop off, all right? And if you don't want people to see that happen to you, leave right now because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable for you. I promise you it will. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. as far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed. I don't take any responsibility for what happens after here. I'm trying to keep this thing on the rails as much as possible. But and I say we're all adults, so please be ready, get grounded, get your shields, get your whatever you need. Not the MAGA demons. The MAGA demons, they're pretty much done for. But there's sometimes things that are just said here, and what I do is sometimes I just don't even entertain it because I understand that it's not important for me to always be factually correct with MAGA, because one of the things that I'm learning right now is MAGA has a serious issue going on upstairs, ladies and gentlemen. These folks cannot read. They cannot comprehend. They cannot articulate and pronounce words correctly. All right. But they are the loudest people that are out here, and they don't even know what the heck they're talking about. And so what I do is, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't entertain them when they start trying to do the thing like race baiting and things like that. You see what's happening out there in the state of Texas. Governor Greg Abbott is trying to basically help Donald Trump pull off what he tried to do during the 2020 election. You know, when he was calling for those votes, I just need you to find me 11,780 votes. It's the same thing going on out there in Texas. He's trying to steal. Why do you got to be... You only have to commit crime when you're losing. And this is what I'm trying to help MAGA understand. If you all were so happy, like you all say you are, you know, after the election, we have a mandate, Zeus. What is the mandate? Get men out of women's sports, and then we'll all be happy. What's the mandate, Zeus? We're going to do some mass deportation, Zeus. We're going to take our country back. What's the mandate? We're going to fix the economy. And then you look at where we're at right now, a little over 7 months into the Trump's administration, and none of those things, ladies and gentlemen, are actually working. There is not one mandate MAGA had that's actually working. And Donald Trump knows it, and every single day he wakes up with a new grift, and MAGA knows it. Could you imagine you being a broke Trump supporter? And I don't like to talk about people's wallets, all right? Because I think we're all struggling out here. But look at this, where Donald Trump has these Trump supporters. I never, ever thought, and these people, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, these people go to church, and their pastors repeat the same thing Donald Trump tells them. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, right? We all suspect who she was. You know what she did on January 6th, the pipe bomber. But I'm still waiting for that to come out. But we know her. She posted today, Russian collusion hoax, 0 arrest. Mar-a-Lago raid, 0 arrest. Oh my God. Biden auto pin, 0 arrest. 2020 election, 0 arrest. The Epstein files, 0 0 arrest. C-19, Dr. Fauci, 0 arrest. Benghazi, 0 arrest. Doge findings, because they said they found all that waste, fraud, and abuse. 0 arrests. Oh, what about the Ukraine impeachment hoax? Oh, 0 arrests. What about President Obama? 0 arrest. It's the greatest feeling in the world when MAGA self-owns, because I'm pretty sure she put this up here and thought she was saying something. But when I saw this, I said, no, Marge, what you've done, and it's what Snuggles does, it's what the Russian bears do. You put up these ridiculous, and not just them, it's all of these so-called content creators. I don't even call them content creators anymore. These people are worse than parrots. These people, they just get up here and show us all how uninformed and how unintelligent they really are. And this is why I will say this until I don't have the ability to say it anymore. The most dangerous thing in this country, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, is an uninformed Trump voter. So what I'll do is this, since Marjorie doesn't get it, Marjorie, you're in a cult, and all the people like you are in a cult, all right? And what we're doing is showing you, when you got this many zeros on the scoreboard, because she said 0 arrest. When you got that many zeros on the scoreboard, that means you're losing. MAGA is losing. Ladies and gentlemen, they don't get it. Let's go ahead and send them where they came from. Straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA Daily.
W-Sis. MAGA is losing. And this is why they're trying to do the cheating thing out in the state of Texas. And I just want to say this shout out to all of you wonderful people out there, because what it's really conversations at shows like this. It's saving America every single day. You know what I do? I wake up every day and I go, how are his poll numbers looking when it comes to the economy? Oh, they're ticking down. Good. How are his poll numbers doing when it comes to mass deportation? Oh, they're ticking down. Okay, good. Because eventually, when this is all said and done, and you know, people keep coming up to me, especially MAGA, when the Democrats' poll numbers aren't looking good, Zeus, they're not looking good. And I say, you should not be worrying about the Democrat poll numbers. All right, because there's going to be a moment in American history, or, you know, in the near future, when, like I said, we're not even going to want these folks. I don't even, you know, there's some people that I'm thinking, you know, maybe I could win over and bring them into the fold. But there's a lot of you out there, honestly, and they know who they are, especially like folks like the Russian bears, right? And all these sick and twisted so-called, I used to be a Democrat. How many people know people out there that say, I used to be a Democrat? You know anybody like that? I used to be a Democrat? Yeah, those are the ones, honestly. If we could go back in time, and I probably shouldn't say this. Yeah, you don't want them either. None of us want you. No. It's like asking to get back in a relationship with somebody you know is bad news. No. I'll take my chances over there. I'll take my chances solo dolo. On Friday, ladies and gentlemen, how many of us saw those ridiculous job numbers that came out? And they were an update. And Donald Trump turned around and fired the Bureau of Labor Statistics. He said, I don't like those numbers. So I'm going to fire you. Did the firing, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Q-Dog. Did the firing, ladies and gentlemen, help anybody with their grocery bill? Anyone out there? I want to talk to the Trump supporters. He fired the woman that gave him the updated and most accurate numbers, and he said he's going to backfill this position in 3 to 4 days. And so the person that's coming in is going to be stuck between a rock and a real big rock, right? Do we give Donald Trump the real numbers going forward, which we all know aren't going to be good? Okay, because here's the thing. You bring someone else in and they're new, and all of a sudden the numbers look better than the previous. MAGA, this is why I say you're in deep trouble. Did the firing make anybody's grocery prices go down? I'm just looking in the chat real quick. Did the firing that Donald Trump did of the person that gave him the updated numbers, did it make anyone's grocery prices go down? Did it make anyone's utility bill go down? Nope, it didn't. Did it? Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. These people are out here. Now I saw one yes, not yours, Swerve. Look at this. And see, and so MAGA, this is what you own. Remember when you got on TikTok and you said, this is what we voted for? What you voted for, MAGA, is no money in your bank accounts, because the tariffs are a peacetime tax that Donald Trump has implemented on you. And not just you, obviously, folks like me. We get it, you don't. So you're giving him up all your money. He's still sending you grifting emails telling you could be the one, you know, if you want this Doge check, go ahead and send me $20 or $30, $40. You know what? Go ahead and send me $2,000. And a lot of you do this. Your interest rates on your houses, you know, he wants Jerome Powell to lower the interest rate, but that's not getting lowered because Jerome Powell has the real numbers. And so MAGA, you know what? I got to say this. This is, to me, one of the best things that I get to watch. I get to watch Donald Trump. You got to imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. His arms and his hands are around the necks of every single one of his supporters. And I have to say it this way. By the time this is all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to end like every other cult ends. A lot of supporters, they won't be here. They won't be around. And so in this midterm time, I'm hoping Donald Trump gets to exert maximum pressure on his supporters, because you know what that means? They won't be around to vote, because most likely they'll be unalived. They'll be broke and unalived. Okay. Now, let's talk about a couple of things that their dear leader said. And I did a video about this. How many of you think Donald Trump is going to be giving out free rugs. Like, I got to keep it clean on TikTok. He said he's going to be giving out free rugs. Put a D in front of it, and you know what I'm talking about, right? So this is his secret. This is his strategy, he said, in order to win the midterm. He wants to get his supporters, you know what I say, he wants them to get, pumped up with some substances, we can't say about it on TikTok. But what I'm going to do is we're going to play this clip that he, this is an interview a reporter asked him. He said, so what can you say to the Republicans to help them win the midterms? And listen to his answer, all right? And then we're going to get to judgment.
That he meet, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, what advice do you have for Republicans on Capitol Hill heading into midterms? What do they need to do? What can they do to, hold?
Well, one of the things they're going to be talking about pretty soon are the tremendous drop in drug prices. We've cut drug prices by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, 1,500%.
I got to stop right there. I would love to know if there's a Trump voter out there that could actually get up here. Any Trump supporters out there, please? I don't want to tell them what I need them to do just yet. Any Trump supporters out there? Put one in the chat if you like the idea of him getting the drug prices cut over 100% up to like 1,500%, please. Please. Are you a Trump supporter? Renell, you think that I'm going to be arrested? Okay, well, here's something amazing about what you just said, Renell. Come on up here. When you spam my chat like that, it's an offer I can't refuse. So, Renell, who is this? Is this Jay Bear? Is this perhaps Vegas Girl, perhaps Kimmy, one of them in their backup accounts? I see them. Anybody that comes in here and does that, or maybe it's Mary. Remember Mary? Mary was saying she was calling me Dwayne and then mixing it up with the grinder. Dwayne Grinder. They don't want to come up here. So Maz, you know what to do. Please put that individual possibly in the tightest straitjacket you can. W Zeus. And let me get back to it. I'm looking for a Trump supporter that could get up here and explain the 1,500% cut on drug prices, prescription drug prices. Any Trump supporters want to get up here, get a scratch sheet of paper. And what I want you to do is show me what you're paying now and then apply the 1,500% reduction. And then I want you to tell me what the answer is, all right? Because this is incredible stuff right here.
I don't mean 50%. I mean 1,500%.
Yeah.
Because we're going favored nations. We want the same prices Europe gets. We want the same prices other country gets. And over the years, 25, 30 years ago, it started where they were charging us much more. And I put an end to it, with the letter that you saw last week. So I think that's going to be a point. I don't know how anybody could win an election if they're on the other side of that issue. So we'll be dropping drug prices. It'll start over the next 2 to 3 months by 1,200, 1,300, and even 1,400% and 500%, but not just 50% or 25%, which normally would be a lot, because the rest of the world pays much less for the identical drug, and we're going to be paying the same thing. We're going to have a favored nation. We will pay as low as the lowest nation in the world.
Okay. And so what I'll do is this is Lake of Fire worthy, because I know there's going to be I don't call them content creators. What do you want? What should we call these people, ladies and gentlemen, that get on TikTok and put things in the background? Liberals or Democrats request up, and then they got their talking points. Trump doing good on the economy. E-files, and then they'll put something crazy up there like lower prescription drug prices, 1,500% off. And then they'll try to have a debate. What do we call these people? Oh, I shouldn't say it. It's probably, I'll get in trouble. But you know what they are. Ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the Lake of Fire, because these are some of the most incompetent, dangerous, sick people I've ever seen in my life. Literally taking information and making it into misinformation in record time and then selling it to you and I online. Let's send them where they came from, straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA Daily.
And I see folks out there getting very upset and angry with the way that I'm running this show. And they go, Zeus, I just want to get up here and say something to you. I can't say anything to you. You're making me angry. And then they're crashing out in my audience. And what I'll say is this.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country,
And they do.
If you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Yeah, and I do mean that. Like that one gentleman, who knows that one Russian, that one man from Texas, I think his name was like David something, and he said, "I am so done being woke in the United States. I'm taking me and my family to Russia." You all heard about this story, and it's the funniest, I tell you. I mean, because Nutty, my good friend Nutty, we had a thing going on for a while. If you want a free trip to Russia, we'll help you get there. This knucklehead didn't even take our money. He used his money to go to Russia. And I'm like, wow. Could you imagine being the woman that married this nincompoop, so to speak? This guy's, I mean, just terrible decision after terrible decision. He's MAGA. He gets to Russia. Putin, I'm here. You know, what do you need me to do? He says, "Oh, you're MAGA." Yes, I'm MAGA. Me, and I just need to serve you. I'm not. Well, Putin says, "Well, here's the thing. Why don't you? How much money you got in your bank account?" Well, here's a little bit of crumbs I had left over, and Trump took the rest. But you know, and Putin took that, and then he said, "Now here's an idea. Why don't you go on over to this town 2 miles up the road or kilometers, and what we'll do is we'll fast track you on our retirement plan. All right, we got the best retirement program out here in the world, and you won't be woke." This is what he told him. "I promise you, you go up there, you won't be woke anymore." Really? Yeah. And Putin sent his special behind to the front lines, ladies and gentlemen, and now he's not alive. I mean, one thing you gotta say is Putin kept his word, right? You ain't woke now. You're not woke. And I just thought of that, but Putin. So I don't want to be woke anymore. Okay, I'll take you at your word. And he sent them to the front line to go fight in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, the one that Donald Trump said he was going to end in 24 hours. Yeah, he's no longer alive. And so, yeah, he's no longer woke. And that's the lesson, MAGA. Yeah, sometimes the joke goes a little too far, right? But this is the penalty. And this is why I say there has to be some sort of punishment for ignorance. This is why a lot of times when you Trump supporters get into my box and you start talking to me, I'll listen. But after about 10 or 20 seconds, that's really too much time. I go, it's not even worth entertaining anymore, because what you're doing is you're going off of a deep, dangerous cliff. And if you don't stop yourself, you're going to be in a world of trouble. Now, the last part, and then I'll go to the audience and I'll talk to anybody out there that's brave enough to get up here and tell the truth and shame the devil and admit they've been lied to and manipulated by the cult. All right, W. Kabira. I'll bring up anybody that's brave enough to get up here and try to defend the indefensible. Obviously, this wouldn't be a regular show unless we finished talking about...
Sure. If I
Could I just interrupt for a second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
You're darn right.
This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Thank you. How many people think we should stop talking about the E-Files? Does anyone think we should stop talking about the E-Files? Yeah, because there you go. What success? We don't have any success when it comes to these so-called arrests that he said he is going to make, you know, getting Obama and Kamala Harris and Oprah Winfrey and Beyonce. He was supposed to put them in prison, right? But that's not happening. So we don't have any success there. Our job numbers, we just saw that. That didn't look too successful. All right. The economy, the foreign policy, the E-Files. I don't see the success. So what we'll do is we'll just pick up where we need to with those E-Files. So ladies and gentlemen, we all saw it on Friday. He had an interview with Newsmax, and listen to just listen to this guilty man admit that pretty much he can't release the E-Files because he's all over them. All right, listen to this.
In the first one, look, the media didn't care about this story when Joe Biden was in office. Suddenly they care about this story again. Ghislaine Maxwell serving 20 years in prison for sex trafficking. Is clemency on the table for her in exchange for testimony?
I'm allowed to do it, but nobody's asked me to do it. I know nothing about it. I don't know anything about the case, but I know I have the right to do it. I have the
So I don't know anything about it. I'm allowed to do it. I don't know anything about the case. How many people believe that? Any of you Trump supporters believe that? Because if you do, trust me, send me about 20 bands, 20 bands. And then what I'll do is I'll make your dreams come true. All right. 20 bands. I'll get any of you Trump supporters, wherever you want to be on the face of the earth and with whoever you want to be with. I can do that. Just send me those 20 bands. All right. W Zeus. Because at this point, it's that easy.
I give pardons. I've given pardons to people before, but nobody's even asked me to do it.
Sean Diddy Combs,
Right.
would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yes.
I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something, but he was celebrating a victory, but he seems, I guess it wasn't as good as a victory. Probably, I was very friendly with him. I got along with
Isn't it so funny that when it came to Diddy, and he's really trying to sound like he actually has a conscience. Oh, I don't know, man. That Diddy guy. But when it comes to Ghislaine Maxwell, oh, she's a wonderful person. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm going, if I were a Trump supporter and a God-fearing Trump supporter, so-called Christian, this would be a red flag dead giveaway.
Great. And seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well. But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about us.
Yeah, and it's hard,
It's hard.
like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office and he made some terrible statements. So, I don't know, it's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs,
I would say
like.
so.
Okay. And what about George Santos?
So more likely a no for Diddy. Isn't that something, ladies and gentlemen? This is you just gotta wonder what does he have against Diddy? Is it because he's a brother?
He just went away, 7 years.
He was
Black.
he lied like hell. I mean, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
And I didn't know him, but he was 100% for Trump. But I didn't, I might have met him, maybe not, I don't know. But he was a congressman and his vote was solid. It sounds like a lot. He got in. You could blame the other side for not checking him out.
Yeah.
He didn't do all those things that he said.
Local news missed it. Everybody missed
Well,
it.
you could say the media missed it. Everybody missed it. They found out about this stuff after the election was won.
Get back to
So
Epstein.
nobody's talked to me
Get back
about
to
it. So they
Epstein.
really, they haven't talked to me about the two. They have talked to me about Sean, but they haven't talked to me about the two. But again, with him, I have the right to do it. Nobody's asked me, but it's interesting. Is it 7 years?
7 years. He just went away.
That's a long time.
Your deputy attorney general sat down with Ghislaine Maxwell for 9 hours. I'm just wondering when the American people get to hear what she said during that interview.
Well, I don't know because I haven't spoken about it, but he's a very talented guy, Todd Blanche, and a very straight shooter.
Yeah.
And I think he probably wanted to know, just to get a feeling of it, because we'd like to release everything, but we don't want people to get hurt.
Back to the E-Files. They ask him about Ghislaine Maxwell. And you hear this, MAGA. He says, we would like to release everything, but we don't want people to get hurt. And I'm sitting here going, who can get more hurt than the victims? See, any Trump supporters out there want to answer that question? Because when I heard him say this, that's exactly where my mind went. Who could be more hurt than the victims by the releasing? If you want to not hurt the victims, then you could just redact their information, right? You say, oh, okay. But one of the funniest stories out there, ladies and gentlemen, is that they've already redacted Donald Trump's name throughout the files. And this is why they said we're not going to move any forward, because I don't know. The estimates say 70% of it was him in there that they were redacting. I mean, MAGA, the answers are slapping you all in your face right now, and that's what I'm saying. When you don't want to this is a life lesson, and I shouldn't give it to Trump supporters for free, but I'm going to, because then I'm going to eliminate their ability to try to use it as an excuse when they try to get into heaven. Right? They can't say they didn't know. All right. When you don't face the truth and you don't accept it, you know what the truth does? It just slaps you all in your face. W, Zeus. So MAGA, you're getting slapped around by the truth, and this is why this is all happening to you right now.
Shouldn't be heard.
Yeah.
And I would assume that was why he was there. I want to release everything. I just don't want people to get hurt. You can't have people associated. First of all, the files were run by some very bad people and very sick people like Comey and Lisa, the whole group, all those people.
So now he's saying the files do exist. Once again, this is, he first said they didn't exist. It was all a hoax. Now the files do exist, but they were run by some very, very bad people. Even more of a reason to release it, because if it's all corrupt and it's all fabricated, why don't you release the files and then turn around and arrest these people, right? I mean, that's called common sense. But apparently MAGA doesn't like common sense, especially when it's not in their favor.
In that office, they ran those files for 4 years. And if they were going to use the files, they would have used it before my election. Because unless there's...
No, I'm going to take that off the table too. The reason they couldn't have used them, and I'm playing along with them in their world of conspiracy, right? We got to do this so that they understand. We got to end this whole thing about Biden should have released them. Because I'm of the mindset that, listen, under Biden, wasn't Donald Trump indicted 4 times and convicted 1 time? And of all of those, MAGA accepted how many of those? 0. So what this would tell anybody that has common sense is, even if Biden would have released this, MAGA would have turned around and tried to justify or defend it and try to weaponize it and say, oh, this is a Biden hit job. So I am of the mindset now, the best thing to happen is for all of this to come out under Donald Trump's administration. And these are his cabinet picks, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino. This is their mess. Only they can fix this. And so, no, I don't think it should have came out under Biden. This is probably the one that, out of all of the things that came out under Biden, this is the one, you know what, we're going to let Donald Trump deal with it just to show the world how disgusting and sick of a person this man is. And it's coming out, MAGA, whether you want to believe it or not. MAGA, mark my words, when this is all said and done, a lot of y'all are going to be in a state of shock. I'm talking about paralyzed, because you're going to go, I didn't believe it. And then it's going to be slapping you in your face. All right, but it's coming.
Which to a certain extent they are stupid.
You're saying they would have released the information?
Well, they have the files. They control the files.
Yes.
They didn't control the files. They control the files for 4 years. So if they had something, they would have released it before the election, because they are not geniuses, but they're evil.
Right.
So if they're not smart, and then that, so he says if we would have had it, we would have released it, but we didn't release it because we're not so smart. So then that takes that off the table, then, Donald Trump, right? Because now you got to admit, so the Democrats aren't smart, which means you're the smart one. And if you're smart, Donald Trump, then you should be the one releasing it, right? W, Zeus. You see how he cooked himself? This is how MAGA continues to cook themselves. So the argument is Democrats aren't smart, and he's implying he's the smart one. Well, genius, release the files. Simple.
People. I can't really tell you much other than Todd went in, and I think he just wants to make sure that innocent people aren't hurt. But you'd have to speak to him about it.
Okay.
So Todd went in there to make sure innocent people are hurt. See, ladies and gentlemen, what we have right now is another instance of just how much Donald Trump doesn't care about the victims of his BFF, Jeffrey E. And this is why I say God's judgment is truly upon this nation, MAGA. Look at what you voted for. You voted for a P3DO. MAGA is the party of pro P3DO. And so what I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap up this e-file update today by me giving you some more information. We all know that 82% of Americans, including 76% of Republicans, We all want these files released immediately. And the Democrats are the ones that are actually taking this very, very serious and making sure that the procedures it takes to get these files released are actually being followed as much as they can. But we know we got a lot of interference from, people in the Republican Party, people like Mike Johnson. And so what that being said is, here's the thing. We all know also that the information in there should be enough to end the 10 years of just total pain and agony Donald Trump and his supporters have put this nation through, with it ending with us all knowing that he's a dirty old man and breaks everything basically in his sight. And we also know that without a shadow of doubt that the man is a grotesque racist. We know without a shadow of doubt that he's a convicted felon who assaults women. We know without a shadow of doubt that he cheats on his taxes, and even more, that he cheated on all of his wives. We know without a shadow of doubt that he is a nuclear-powered liar who is simply incapable of telling the truth, and that he lied over 30,000 times in his first administration. We know without a shadow of doubt that he invited Russia to help him with the 2016 election and refused to call them on it in Helsinki. We know without a shadow of doubt that he is using the White House as his own personal ATM, and by many estimates has already pocketed billions and billions of our dollars in cryptos and airplanes while taking endless vacations to go golfing on all of his properties all over the world on our dime. We know without a shadow of doubt that he stalked girls in the dressing rooms of Miss Teen USA beauty competitions because, quote, he's seen it all before and he's the owner of the pageant and therefore he's inspecting it. These are his words, MAGA. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and do one more round of the booze and shame. And this is for all of you so-called Christians out there, all you so-called Trump voters out there that really thought we believed you when you said that you were truly patriots. No, you're not patriots. What you are evil people. You're wicked. You don't know Jesus, the Jesus in the Bible. You don't know God. All you know is worshiping Donald Trump and smelling his dirty, disgusting diapers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send these demons where they came from, straight to
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, W. Zeus. All right, so now that I've covered what I need to cover, it's now time for me to interact with the audience. We got about a good hour or so to do this. And I like to kind of mix it up. Do we have anybody out there that's still supporting Donald Trump after I totally annihilated you with all the information that I just shared out? Anyone out there still supporting Donald Trump, please put a 1 in the chat. What I want to do is show people that unlike MAGA, I have the ability to actually have very productive discussions and get to the bottom of whatever's going on. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Real American News. How about you? All right. I'll send you an invite. This doesn't take long. Good morning, Real American News. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. You voted for Donald Trump?
I did.
Okay. How are you feeling about that right now? Are you expressing, do you feel like kind of like you've been duped at all, or?
No, I just feel like you're definitely a propagandist.
Under what information do you have to support that narrative? I mean, because people say all kinds of things and it doesn't mean it's true, right?
Yeah, like the things that you were just spewing.
Like what?
Well, for example, like your insinuation that Donald Trump has anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. You have no evidence to even say that.
Actually, I do.
You have no physical, actual evidence to say that he was at the islands, that he participated in any of the massages, anything that is criminal at all. And I would ask you, what year was Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell arrested?
Those are all valid questions.
2019. Who was the president?
You tell me.
2009.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me when
who was the president?
When Donald Trump is the criminal and definitely has all these ties to Jeffrey Epstein, his DOJ and FBI is going to be the one to arrest those people.
Yeah, it's called investigation. You know what they call that in the dark?
Obama ignored.
Hold on, Real American.
Obama ignored.
hold on, Real American. It's called making sure none of the dirt gets out, right? So you have to approach this with American. Are you listening? One thing you and I should be able to agree on is Donald Trump is a criminal, right? He's a criminal.
I mean, by
no, Real American. If you look at it from the perspective that most people who aren't criminals look at it, then yeah, it's like, this is crazy. But if you're a criminal, wouldn't you want it to be a wouldn't you want to make sure all your dirt doesn't come out?
What is your definition of criminal?
Somebody that's been convicted, felonies, somebody that's been indicted multiple times. Yeah. So
QuickBooks mistakes. That's criminal. Making
no,
QuickBooks mistakes.
What was it? So it was what I believe. What was it? 13 invoices, 12 invoices, 12 checks, and 13 journal entries. 13. So yes, no. It's actually
what a crime.
It's falsifying business records.
What a crime.
So, Real American.
You must be such a criminal, violent.
So, did you see he tried to at least cover it up when he was convicted of that? He tried to cover it up. And so, you know that Donald Trump commits crimes and then he tries to cover it up. And I'll just ask you to be 100% transparent. Was he in photos with Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, at Mar-a-Lago before he kicked him out.
What about the dancing in the videos?
That was all before he kicked him out of his
What about the wedding?
Yeah, again.
Yeah, so what they call that is circumstantial evidence, right? You could have a
picture with the murderer. That doesn't mean that your old friend. That doesn't mean that you agree with that. Your old friend did something out of the ordinary, and you kicked him out once you.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is it ever okay to be friends with a predator, a child predator, in your world?
If you don't know that
for 20 years, like honestly, if you have no idea that your friend for 20 years, you're inviting this guy to the weddings and stuff like that, and you don't know he's a predator, what does that say about you?
You understand Oprah?
No.
Right?
Did I ask